Where's your son?
Is Kanaya here? Kanaya here? His brother.
Ammonia. Oh, yeah.
Check down around the side of the same. At least
Can't afford.
Yeah.
Shri Radhastami Mahamahotsav. Hare Krishna. So my name is Medhavi Das, and I don't come to Durban that often. I'm based in Cape Town, but I have a deep connection with this temple because along with His Holiness Bhakti Chaitanya Swami, we spent about 5 years. 5 years. You'll have to wait here for another 45 minutes or hour and a bit for prasadam. That's minutes. But we're talking about years. 5 years traveling around this country, collecting funds for this temple. And that was Srila Prabhupada's special mercy upon us to engage us in that way. There was one other devotee who collected more funds than I did. And his name is Shanal Das. She's good to have us here. She's there. Hare Krishna. Because we had to sell all kinds of paraphernalia, paintings and frames, which translated into cash. And that's how Chaitanya Maharaj knows his Afrikaans. Because in the phrase stops, they won't talk to you unless you speak their language. But Shamla Prabhu, all of his collection was 100% profit. So he was the biggest collector. And it was a great gift which Srila Prabhupada actually requested the devotees when he came to South Africa in 1975. He didn't tell the devotees to build a temple in Reservoir Hills. He told the devotees to build a temple in Chatsworth. Build a temple in Chatsworth. So this is Srila Prabhupada's instruction for this temple to be here. So we don't come here that often. We're always pleased to see how wonderfully this instrument, this tool, Srila Prabhupada is engaged in bringing so many wonderful devotees to the temple, to Krishna. And we're all on different levels. We're all on different levels of spiritual development. And we're trying in our own little ways to make some progress. According to Srila Prabhupada's instructions, and according to the good guidance from senior devotees like Sri Namadar, Vijay Prabhu, and especially His Holiness Bhakti Chaitanya Swami. So Srila Prabhupada gave the process. Of course, the process has been handed down since the beginning of creation. The process of devotional service. So we were discussing the other day about how we think we can be happy by doing something else besides serving Krishna. The idea of serving Krishna doesn't seem like a great idea when we're trying to enjoy for ourselves. But actually it's the only way to become happy. So this building is a monument for that purpose, to help everyone come to the highest standard of devotion to the Supreme Lord, and that is embodied by Srimati Radharani. Srimati Radharani ki Jai. So this is the only installed deity of Srimati Radharani, as far as I know, in South Africa. So this is a very special time and opportunity for us to appreciate, because she is the mother of devotion. She is the goddess who cares for all the devotees. She is our merciful guide in devotion. So Lord Chaitanya Krishna, after he appeared 5,000 years ago, he recognized that he was enjoying so much the loving service of the gopis, but he perceived that the gopis were actually enjoying more than he was. And in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, the percentage that the gopis were enjoying serving Krishna more than Krishna was enjoying by being served by them, does anyone know? I'm sure you just shocked. It's mentioned that the gopis enjoyed 10 million times more by serving Krishna than Krishna enjoyed being served by them. So what does that say? What does that say? If we're smart, we want a big investment. We want people, we're all looking for good investments. I can see you're looking for a good investment. Investment and the eyes perk up. The ears lift. Good investment. So it's a good investment. Service to the Supreme Lord. And Srimati Radharani, she embodies that mood of service. So she is the most perfect devotee. And we can learn from here. And by serving her, then we receive so much transcendental benefit. So this opportunity is once a year, one day a year. We concentrate on the service of Srimati Radharani. And the deity worship here is a very high standard. Very high standard. And not everybody is allowed on the altar unless they've taken second initiation, as some of the devotees do today. But Srimati Radharani is full of many, many qualities. And she is, especially on the days of the appearance of the Lord, his great devotees, and his pleasure potency, Srimati Radharani, on these days, we can directly beseech them for their mercy so that we can make some progress in devotional service. And that's the most important thing that we can do with our human life. We're all people here. There's no dogs and cats that are allowed in the temple room. So human life is meant for spiritual development, is meant for self-realization. And we're glad that everyone has come today to hear about how to perfect the self, how to utilize this human life for its best purpose. And just by being here, practically speaking, you're guaranteeing that the next life that you'll have will be in the human form. Nehabhikrama Pratyavayo Nivijite Swapamapiyasya Parmasya Trayate Mahatovaya. So only, even by a little participation in spiritual understanding, spiritual existence, spiritual inquiry, one can overcome the greatest fear. The greatest fear. So who knows what that greatest fear? The greatest fear is to lose this human form. So we have it. We have this human form, but are we utilizing it properly? We have to pay the bills. We have to pay the price of all the commodities. We have to put the kids through school. We have to pay for the petrol for the car. We have to do so many things. But are we focusing on the most important aspect of what human life is for, and that is to learn about ourselves, our spiritual nature, and our relationship with God. So Krishna has 3 different incarnations. Of course, Krishna has unlimited incarnations, like the waves in the ocean. Krishna has unlimited incarnations, but he has 3 different deity features. One of the features is called Radha Madan Mohan. Madan Mohan, Radha, Srimati Radharani is always with Lord Krishna as his perfect servant. But Madan Mohan is the deity of Sambandha. Sambandha means that we understand that we're spirit souls and that we are servants of God. That's Sambandha. Do we understand that? We can hear it. We can hear it with our ears, but do we realize that? That we're spiritual? We have nothing to do with this temporary life, actually, even though we're so involved with it. And ultimately, we are Krishna's servants. Krishna's eternal servants. That's what we are. That's the purpose of our existence. When I was growing up, I told this story, my wife is probably sick of hearing it. But one of my brothers had passed away, and a great uncle had passed away, and during those times, of course, we've all experienced when we lose a relative or a close friend, then we begin to wonder, what is the purpose of this life? What is this life for? And it struck me very deeply. Why am I here? How did I get here? Well, I know my parents brought me into this world. So I asked my dad, why did you have me? Why did you have me? And he kind of looked at me like, what kind of question is that? Of course, maybe in Indian culture there's some perception there, but in America and the West in the 50s, there wasn't that kind of understanding. So I was pursuing that. What is the purpose? What is the purpose of my life? And I was reading and studying and doing TM and yoga and martial arts and the whole thing. And I decided that there is a goal to life. There is a goal to my existence. I don't know what it is, but when I find out, I'm going to be ready. So that's the goal of our life. Our goal of our life is that we are spiritual and we are the servants of the Supreme. So how to do that, how to serve the Supreme Personality of Godhead, that's called Abhideya. And the deity in charge is Radha Govinda, in charge of the process of devotional service. So we're all here. We're engaged in that process. The first part of that process is just to hear. Just to hear. Hear about Krishna. Hear and chant and remember and serve and worship and become the friend, offer prayers, and ultimately offer everything. We were talking this afternoon about His Holiness, again, a sannyasi. Sannyasi means no concern, just depending on Krishna and trying to serve Krishna with every activity that one performs. So this Abhideya, it means the service to develop that activity of performing the different services to the Supreme Personality of God. Then beyond, when we perfect that, there are the 9 processes we just mentioned. 7 of them, the first 7, hearing, chanting, remembering, serving, worshiping, offering prayers, becoming the first servant, becoming the friend, not becoming the friend, offering prayers. Those 7, we're supposed to be perfecting. We're supposed to be perfecting those 7 items. That's what our lives are for. always hearing, always chanting, trying to remember, trying to worship, trying to serve, offer prayers. That's what our life, and according to the principles of devotion, that's what we should be doing. We should be trying to do that. We should be trying to fill up our life with the activities of devotion. And the last two, becoming their friend and offering everything, therefore a different level of devotee. We're practicing Vaidhi Bhakti, devotional service and practice. But there's something called Raga Bhakti, which is devotion in spontaneous love. And that's another platform. But when we perfect those processes of devotional service, then we come to the level of prayojana, which means actually developing some affection, some feeling, some attachment for the Supreme Personality of God. That is supervised by Radha Gopinath. So Srimati Radharani, she embodies that attachment and affection and complete dedication to the service of Krishna. And we are worshiping her for her mercy, so that somehow or other this all can sink into our dull brains and our dull consciousness, so that we can actually become servants of the Supreme Lord. So today is a special day. It's Srimati Radharani's appearance day. So there's some stories, some pastimes about Krishna, and we thought we could read one or two, because philosophy is important, but we want to hear some pastimes as well. So there's a very interesting pastime. There's a very nice book by Bhakti Purushottam Swami about Srimati Radharani. And Krishna in Vrindavan, he never married. When he went to Mathura and killed Kamsa and all of his cronies, then eventually he went to Dwarka, and there he married 16,108 queens. Good password for you. Good password for your credit card. 16108. No one will figure that out unless they're a devotee criminal. So Krishna had 16,108 queens in Dwarka. But in Vrindavan he never married. So, but as we know, there are two kinds of loving relationships in the Madhurya Rasa. And one is the Swakiya, that's the legal, married affection and love. But then there's the Parakiya, and the Parakiya is considered much higher because there's an element of danger and fear. So here we have an instance of that. Krishna takes the form of Kali. Kali. Everybody knows who Kali is? The form of the material energy. It was the month of Magh during Krishna Paksha. Magh is January. In different parts of India it gets cold. You go to Vrindavan in January, you better bring your long johns. It's cold. It's cold. It's India. India, it's 40 degrees. No, it's 10 and 5 during Magh. After finishing his daily activities, Krishna's got daily activities. Milking the cows, playing kabaddi, taking bath and eating breakfast. Krishna went to Vrindavan to graze the cows along with his cowherd friends. So Krishna does things. He has responsibilities. He has to take care of the cows. He's a very responsible person. We're chanting on our beats. Krishna's holy name. Krishna has beads as well, but his beads are jewels. And it's the 108. He also chants 108. But it's the 108 groups of cows, groups of his cows. And he knows all those millions of cows. Nanda Maharaj has 900,000 cows. 900,000 cows. After some time, Krishna left the cowherds and went for a walk in the forest with Madhu Mangala. Madhu Mangala is his Brahmin friend. Lord Krishna played the part of a Vaishya, son of Nanda Maharaj, king of the cowherds. And Madhu Mangala was a Brahmin boy, a friend. He was enjoying the beautiful flowers of Vasant season, the king of all seasons. Krishna was very eager to meet with Srimati Radharani. When he saw the beauty of the trees with newly sprouted leaves and flowers of spring, Krishna started to play on his flute, standing in his threefold bending form under the Kali Kadamba tree on the bank of the river Jamuna, calling the name of Radha. When Radharani heard the sweet sound of Vamsi, Krishna has different kinds of flutes. Vamsi is the smallest, and then he has some bigger ones, and then he has one that's quite big, I'm sure Srimati Krishna can tell us what they are. Hare Krishna. But he's playing on his small Vamsi flute. She was very eager to meet with Krishna. She had cooked varieties of sweets and cakes. Sweets and cakes, they're waiting for us. Sweets and cakes for Krishna, and had prepared chandan and flower garlands for Krishna. Boy, there were a lot of garlands today. Her sakis dressed her very nicely and decorated her with varieties of ornaments. Then, like every other day, on the pretext of performing Surya Puja and Makara Snan, she left Yavat with the desire to meet with Sri Krishna. By the order of Purnamasi, Purnamasi arranges all the pastimes between Krishna and Radharani in Vrindavan. And Vrinda Devi had prepared a flower bed inside the Vamsi Vata Kunj, a grove near the banyan tree under which Lord Sri Krishna played on his flute, to attract the gopis for the rasa dance on the bank of the river Jamuna. Krishna saw Vrinda Devi and told her, "O Vrinde, the beauty of Vasant, the king of all seasons, and the beauty of the forest and flowers are increasing my eagerness to meet with Radharani. Please arrange my meeting with her. I have called her by playing my Vamsi. I hope she will come very soon." Vrinda Devi said, "Whatever you have ordered, I will do immediately. I will bring Radharani very soon. Come inside the kunja and wait." After some time, Radharani arrived with Lalita and the other sakis. Krishna was very happy to see Sri Radha. Lalita and Vishaka arranged Radharani to sit on the left side of Krishna on the flower bed. Then they smeared chandan on their bodies and decorated them with flower garlands. Lalita offered arti while the other sakis sang and clapped their hands. So this is what's going on in the spiritual world. The devotees are chanting in ecstasy. And in the spiritual world, same thing's going on. Same thing is going on. No different. So in that way, we're participating in the activities of the spiritual world while we're still here in this material world. So if we become absorbed in those activities, then being back home and being here for the pure devotees doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. While Radharani and Sri Krishna were thus enjoying their blissful pastimes, Kutila approached the Kun. So who's Kutila? Kutila is the sister of Abhimanyu, who was Krishna, who was Radharani's husband. His Grace, Sri Damodar was telling me the story just yesterday over breakfast. And it's so nice to sit and take preside with the devotees, because we're always chanting about some interesting activity. Hopefully not just the management, but Krishna's pastime. So Krishna was eating this wonderful sweet, and he was relishing this sweet. And then someone was telling them that actually Srimati Radharani married Abhimanyu. And Krishna was eating the sweet, and when they heard that, he spit out the sweet, because it was the most detestable thing to hear. I know in the Indian families here, one is very selective about what kind of husband. For the daughter, it has to be an engineer, or a doctor, or a lawyer, or Hare Krishna, Shri Radhanath. An actuarial or something. So Abhimanyu was not so high upon him. So how that happened, anyway, is one of the interesting things. So Kuntila was Abhimanyu's sister, and they knew that Radharani, they could never prove that Radharani was hanging out. What did Maharaj use the word? Parking off? Parking off with Lord Krishna. They couldn't prove it. They could never catch. Kuntila was always eager to find some fault with Radharani. She approached very quietly and looked through a hole in the kunj. There she saw Radharani and Sri Krishna sitting together on the flower bed. Previously, Kuntila had informed her brother Abhimanyu that Radharani and Sri Krishna always met with each other in the kunja. But he never believed her. Kuntila thought, today I must bring my brother here and show him. When he personally sees this, then he will believe it. So she hurried through the cow pastures where she met Abhimanyu and told him, I have told you so many times that Radha meets with Krishna in the forest, but you never believed me. Now please come and see for yourself how they're sitting inside a secluded kunj on a flower bed. Then you will believe it. Abhimanyu said, if what you are saying is true, if you can show it to me, then I will arrange proper punishment for Krishna. And never again will I let Radharani go out of the house for Surya Puja. Then Kuntila and Abhimanyu, him with a stick in his hand, went toward the kunj. Abhimanyu was very angry. Vrinda Devi was guarding the kunj when she saw that Kuntila and Abhimanyu were approaching the kunja, shouting and screaming. Immediately she informed Radharani. When Radharani heard that Kuntila and Abhimanyu were there, she became very frightened. So there's emotions. Think of the last time you were frightened about getting hurt. I guess with the children getting beaten up. I'm from a family of 8 boys, no girls, 8 boys, and we were always fighting with each other. And my mother, who we drove pretty much crazy, she would say, she got blisters on her hands from trying to beat us, so she would just tell us, I'm going to tell your father. So as soon as my dad got in the house, he would sling out his belt, the belt would come out, slap, like that, and there we go. But we would put on our brand new jeans and stuff some toilet paper or something. But we would scream like we were being murdered. And and he would stop and go more. So she was afraid. She told Krishna, "Oh Prananath, just see both Kutila and my husband Abhimanyu are coming towards this kunj. If my husband sees us together, then he will become very angry and kick me out of the house. Kick me out of the house. He is coming toward here like Yamaraj, ready to kill me. Where can I go now? I'm going to leave my body now, meditating on your lotus feet. Please save me from this danger. I take shelter of your lotus feet." Krishna pacified Radharani and said, "Do not be worried. Have you heard that anyone has died untimely by meditating on the feet of Krishna? Your husband is a devotee of Kali. Now I will accept the form of Kali. You pretend to worship me and sit next to my feet." Both Sri Krishna and Radharani, along with their associates, acted according to Krishna's plan. At this time, Abhimanyu arrived at the kunj in an angry mood, asking Kutila, "Where is that most fallen son of Nanda? Where is that Kula Kalankini, Radha?" I don't know what that means, but it's not a good word. It's true. "Show me them immediately. Till today, I shall give them proper punishment." Krishna transformed himself into the four-armed form of Shama Kali, holding different weapons in his hands, java flower garlands on his neck, and sindoor on his forehead, wearing blood-red cloth, his flute hidden in his cloth. He showed his long tongue, just like Kali. Sitting at his lotus feet, Radharani was pretending to offer Kali Puja. So maybe you know about this item, Kali Puja. Holding some flowers in her hand. At this time, Abhimanyu entered the kunj in an angry state. He forced his way in, but he did not find Krishna. Instead, he saw his worshipable Devi, Shama Kali, standing there in her four-armed form. His wife Radha was worshiping Kali with focused attention. Then Abhimanyu saw his worshipable Kali Devi face to face. Immediately he offered his prayers and obeisances. After offering his humble obeisances at the feet of Krishna, who was in the form of Kali, Abhimanyu stood in front of him with folded hands. Then looking toward his sister Kutila in a very angry mood, he said, "Kutila, where is Krishna? All I see here is Radha so devotionally serving the lotus feet of Mother Bhagavati, which are remembered even by Brahma, Vishnu, and Shiva. My most chaste wife is offering flowers at Devi's lotus feet. You are calling such a chaste lady like my wife a woman of no character. All blame to you. Today I will excuse you, but if you ever falsely give a bad name to my good wife Radha, then I will punish you and throw you out of the house." When Kutila was chastised by her brother like this, she felt great shame and lowered her head. Then Abhimanyu said to Radharani, "Srimati, you are blessed. You are most pious. You are most chaste. There is no one more chaste in Brajmandala. Today my desire has been fulfilled. After so long, all my doubts about you have been cleared. From now on, I will not tolerate anyone blaspheming you. Please continue your worship to Mother Bhagavati in peace, without anxiety. I am now going to graze the cows." After saying this, Abhimanyu offered his obeisances to Mother Kali and left the kunj along with Kutila. After they left, Krishna again accepted his own real form. The Sakis arranged a bed for Sri Krishna and Radharani to sit together and offered them nice fruits to eat. Radharani offered sweets and cakes to Krishna that she had brought from her house. Then all the Sakis served Sri Krishna sweet fruit juice. After eating, Krishna washed his hands and took betel nut. Then Radha and all the Sakis took the remnants of Krishna. Then the Sakis put both Krishna and Radharani on a flower swing to perform swing pastimes for some time. After taking some rest and enjoying with Sri Radha and her Sakis, Sri Krishna went back to the herd to graze the cows. Radharani went to Surya Kunj for puja along with all her Sakis. After finishing puja, they returned to Yavat. So that's one of Krishna's pastimes. Of course, there are so many wonderful pastimes that Srimati Radharani and Sri Krishna perform. And our Mangal Arti in the morning at 4:30 is when Krishna and Radharani are just waking from the evening pastimes of love. So the Mangal Arti is welcoming them back. The gopis and the manjaris are all welcoming Shri. They're waking them so that they can return to their homes before everyone wakes up. So the activities that Srila Prabhupada has given us for prosecuting devotional service, they're all connected with these wonderful pastimes in the spiritual world, where we all belong, And the activities that we perform here are just our practice for our eternal service to Krishna in the spiritual world. And our relationships with devotees. We mentioned previously that Bhakti Tirtha Swami, he wrote many nice books. And in one book, he made a statement. And I remember having the same idea that our relationships in this material world are a substitute for our relationship with Krishna. But Bhakti Tirtha Maharaj, he said that our relationships in this material world are practice for our relationships in the spiritual world. So we can treat each other nicely. And that is one of the symptoms of advancement, because Krishna, he likes his devotees to be worshipped more than he likes to be worshipped himself. So if we treat devotees nicely, then Krishna is pleased, and Krishna will reward us by taking us home. They're ready to open. Thank you very much for patiently listening, and the program will continue. And now, this is the third or fourth?
No, second. First. It's all the first.
Oh! All right, we're still watching the first outfit for the day. I think the finance department complained about all the too many outfits. But maybe next year. Shri Radhanath. Srimati Radharani's Holy Appearance Day. Shri Radhastami Mahamahotsav. Hari Hari Bol.